comic friends, I'm Travis.
And I'm the disembodied voice.
And this is
Monster Comic Review.
That's right, a million years. I think it's probably been 6 to 8 months since the last one of these did.
Probably.
Yeah. So, this is for the last week of June. June 28th, I want to say, 2017. Our superhero books that we read. And first we're going to talk about Batgirl. Which clearly left a lasting impression with you, because before we turned the camera on, you had to look to see what it was about.
Exactly. Well, we finished that big, long, son of
Penguin arc.
Penguin arc. So this is kind of a little one-shot-y type thing.
Yeah. Single issue, single story.
I liked it. It's not that I didn't remember. As soon as you said what it was, I remembered it.
Right. So still written by by Hope Larson, who's been writing it since the Rebirth stuff. Art by a new person, Carlini. Is that how you'd say that?
I'd say Carlini.
So art was okay. It was fine.
Yeah.
So basic, kind of a simple one shot. She's investigating ghosts. That she doesn't really believe in ghosts, but there's some actual ghosts. Spelunkers, I don't know, what do you want to call them? The kind of thing you see on, like, here in America anyway, the Discovery Channel.
On the Sci-Fi Channel or the Discovery Channel.
Where you get these people, with their Geiger counters and other silliness
and
trying to...
And the girl is seriously a wannabe superstar. She's
it's a YouTube channel kind of a thing. Yeah, anyway.
Throwing herself in front of the camera.
Right, so they're there to do the ghost busting, and she is there because it's at the Y. This place is being, the pool at the Y is being haunted, and she's just there to try and help out because,
Right.
It's the Y.
It's the Y.
So she's doing her good deed as the superhero. And lo and behold, there is something in the pool.
Yeah, there's definitely some weird activity going on in the pool. That is true.
So there's a little bit of investigating here. I would say that there is a secondary character that gets moved forward a little bit. We get a little more character of him. One of Babs's Batgirl's is experts that she uses for stuff and whatnot. We get kind of him in the romance thing a little bit. You're staring at me blankly.
Yeah, because I don't remember the romance part. Sorry.
So, at any rate, she needs to have this water studied, and he uses that water study as an excuse to go talk to this other girl that's at the school, at the lab, that clearly he's got a thing for.
And you get the impression that she probably likes him back, just the way that she talks.
Whatever, I don't know.
Him. I don't know. But they obviously both really admire this other scientist who, unfortunately, turns out to be
right.
not so awesome.
Right. But I enjoy the book. I really like Batgirl. I'll continue to say that. 12 issues and we're a year in now from Earth. I enjoy Batgirl. I find it fun. I find it smart. I say all the time on the Comic Roundtable, I think it blends Burnside Batgirl that was at the end of the New 52 well with pretty much any other conventional Batgirl we've had before that. Not as, maybe leans more towards Burnside than Gail Simone's darker Batgirl.
Sure, it's not super edgy, but it definitely feels like Barbara.
Right, as opposed to Burnside Batgirl, which a lot of us didn't really felt like Barbara Gordon. This is much closer to that.
Yes.
And still has a cast of characters around her that were kind of in Burnside. Batgirl are still around her.
And I like those people, so it's nice.
Right, so continue to work with them, I think it's cool too. So, fun one shot, I enjoyed it. Continue to pick up Batgirl. Anything else you want to say about that?
Nope.
Next up, we have the one shot of Batman and Elmer Fudd. So, Looney Tune.
Yeah, and actually it was really fun and more serious than I thought.
You're very good at that, because I can't do that to save my life unless I'm reading it. So, for me, superhero-wise, this is comic book of the week. Easy.
It was really much better than I expected. I just thought it was going to be really silly. It was not. I mean, yeah, but it wasn't totally silly because actual real murder happened, and the characters, the way that who wrote this?
Tom King, the regular Batman writer.
Okay, well, the way he translated the Looney Tune characters into human characters.
Well, you gotta give huge chops to Weeks too. Lee Weeks, the artist.
Oh yeah,
This is straight up a noir story.
Very,
it
yes.
just happens to be that they're wearing they're wearing the wardrobe of the Looney Tune characters and their situations, Looney Tune situations. You know who Elmer Fudd after Bugs Bunny. All those kinds of elements are in this, but it's window dressing for a noir.
Yeah,
I mean, there's the woman in
noir,
it.
exactly.
Everybody loves the woman, and the woman kind of,
Gets away.
and kind of walks out the door and leaves them all.
Yeah, it very much is.
Perfect.
And it's narrated in noir style.
Right.
It's just narrated in noir style in Elmer Fudd's voice.
Right. Almost all of it is Elmer Fudd, in Elmer Fudd's head, and whatnot, and it's got Bugs Bunny in it. Elmer Fudd in this is to kind of explain why he's in Gotham and whatnot. He's always been a hunter. His family's a hunter. They lived in the country. They were dirt poor, but they hunted, and that was great. Well, they kind of ran out of things to hunt. Got to make a living somehow. So he ends up becoming kind of a hitman kind of
Right.
thing. That's what he
A
is.
bounty hunter, hitman
He
type
finds the
thing.
woman of his dreams, and falls in love. Decides that he's going to do one more thing, and he's going to be done. He's never going to do it anymore. He goes off to do that thing. Comes back, and she's dead with a big pile of blood and
her body's
and
not
some rabbit trimming. I mean, carrot trimmings left over. So
Yes.
of course he knows it's Bugs.
Right.
And he goes after Bugs. But he goes after Bugs. It starts out going after Bug. He goes into Porky's. Porky's is a bar, and it's ran by Porky,
Yep.
who looks somewhat, got the upturned
everybody
nose.
has a very
He
nice
stutters.
version of themselves.
He stutters. He's got all the. I mean, so there's Porky. Yeah, I mean, just and here's Bugs. He's got the kind of buck teeth, chewing away on the stuff there. They even do the left turn at Albuquerque.
And he's
Yeah.
never been to Albuquerque.
It was perfect. I mean, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
It's very good. And
You
there
know-
are other little side
Oh,
characters.
yeah. Well,
Yes.
while they're in the bar, you get
People
introduced
playing
to
poker.
Foghorn Leghorn, Yosemite Sam, Sylvester, Tweety. I mean, Marvin the Martian is in it too.
Yes, and he's fabulous. He looks exactly like, kind of
Yeah. There's
how he would look if he were.
actual person as opposed
Yes,
to.
and he has that kind of not prepper but
Oh, but he does.
alien true believer kind
Yeah,
of feeling to him, which is awesome.
And of course
I
that's
They
what
did
he's
a really good job.
and that's what he's that's what he's talking about too. He's talking about ending the world kind of thing, which of course is Marvin's
Absolutely.
gig. All the time talking about ending the world and whatnot. But and Lee Weeks' art is just amazing in it. It is so good. There's this wonderful hallway scene where Elmer Fudd has heard a creak, and so he's looking looking out the hallway. He doesn't see anything out the hallway. Batman's creeping up behind him like a la typical Batman. And Elmer Fudd, he's no joke. He casually puts his shotgun over his shoulder so he can shoot at Batman because he knows Batman's behind him. He doesn't know it's Batman, but I mean, he shoots and then finds out it's Batman and whatnot. But the art is just super excellent for a noir style kind of a thing.
Yes,
and
it takes it very seriously, and yet it still has the quirky funniness to it of a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, extremely good. Extremely good. I was absolutely thrilled with it. It was so much fun. I kind of thought it was going to be cool just because I saw some of the artwork, some of the preview artwork from Weeks. I'm like, oh wow, that's going to look awesome if nothing else. So, really happy with it. I mean, if you like noir, you like Batman at all, I'd recommend it. There's a backup story back up here. It's whatever. It's just the typical
Yeah, it's a silly
duck season, rabbit season,
bat season.
and I didn't care for that
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
alright.
But the main story is well worth the
Well, the
$4.99.
end stories are more like the little cartoon that you get at the beginning of your main feature. So it's really light and silly.
I guess, but it's even. I thought it was even dumber. So whatever. But like I said, really enjoyed it. It was lots of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Batman in the Shadow. Issue number 3. What'd you think?
I don't know. I'm not as in love with this book as you seem to be.
We haven't talked about this, so how do you know how much I'm in love with the book?
Well, you seem to really like the first issue.
Okay.
And so I kind of thought maybe you continued to like it. Am I
I do.
wrong? Well, there you go. See. But I do think it's interesting that he talks about having trained multiple people,
Right.
like a long string of
Right, the
people
Shadow's
to-
been around for a very long time, and he's got a long list of heroes that he has trained, right? I mean, they actually show Green Arrow and a few other people. Yeah.
Yes, and so now Batman is apparently the prime target of the Shadow's longtime rival,
The Stag.
the Stag.
Yeah.
It was pretty creepy, really.
The Joker in this is awesome. I'm kind of tired of the Joker.
We all are.
I really liked him. Not everybody. There's tons of people
Okay.
who love the Joker, but
All right. Some
but
people are.
but I really like the Joker in this. Rosmo's version of the Joker is really great. The Joker's surrounded by a bunch of mannequins that have been kind of haphazardly spray painted.
Yes, with
Batman and
Batman,
Superman and
Robin.
just people, whatever kind of thing. And I loved his whole. I mean, I really was reading this, and I could hear Joker saying the stuff the Joker's saying in this. To me, it was written
He was a
really.
good Joker.
He was written really, really well. This book has got Snyder on the cover as credit. I think he kind of helped come up with the idea. It's really Steve Orlando is doing the writing, Rosmo doing the brilliant art on it. I think that's really, you should be giving credit to, not Snyder. Snyder has to have his name on everything or something. I don't know if it's a Batman book. But, so I really liked it. I thought this issue was a lot of fun.
I like this one better than the last one, so I
and-
might continue liking it more as it goes.
And there was some interesting kind of give and take between the Shadow and Alfred
Yes.
in this,
Yes,
and the Shadow.
and Alfred's
as much
attitude towards him.
as much as the Alfred's like, I know you are the Shadow, and you can't mess with my mind, blah blah blah. I got this gun, and I can shoot you at any moment, and of course, the Shadow lays down the old mojo and goes, really? Are you sure you have a gun in your hand? As it kind of
Yes.
whoosh away.
Yeah,
Even though
disappears.
it's probably there because
It is there. There's a slight.
Right.
I feel like there's a slight faint.
Yeah, because
outline of
he
it
just
in his
basically
hands,
cloud.
so-
I mean, that's one of the things that the Shadow does is
Right,
cloud
clouds
people's
your mind.
minds, so he can then beat the stuffings out of you. So I liked all that. I mean,
Yeah, the conversation between the Stag and the Joker, and the
Mm-hmm.
conversation between Alfred and the Shadow were probably my favorite things. Really, I guess that didn't enjoy is the confrontation between Batman and the Shadow, because Batman is so completely set on that
the Shadow's a
that
bad
the
guy,
Shadow's
too.
a bad guy who has killed
Yeah.
his mentor, and
And there's an awesome page, awesome splash page with a whole bunch of random Batman Rogues Gallery, because they basically catch Batman. They're got him chained up, Joker
Yes,
does. They're going to execute
yes.
him. But he's brought all the people there, so there's some of the people you easily can recognize as who they are. And other people, it's like, wow, who's that obscure villain? So I liked all of that. I mean, as far as kind of basically being, this is an out of continuity kind of a story because the Shadow, Dynamite seems to have control currently over the Shadow as far as that kind of stuff goes. So it's not like it's actually in the Batman universe. This is not it's not in the DC universe proper. For me, it's just a fun elsewhere kind of a story to see, where it goes and how it ends
Sure.
and whatnot. And no character defining moments
right,
necessarily.
you're
here.
not
No,
going to be going,
no.
Batman would never do that. Or,
Of course, we say that now, but who knows? I mean, whatever happens in this could, impress Batman fans enough that they talk about it enough that they slowly fold it in some way. Not sure how with the whole character owning of it and whatnot. I say that because, like, the Killing Joke was never it was never an in continuity story and whatnot, and slowly over time, writers and DC proper has folded it into
True.
being actually part of
Right.
of the regular continuity, because it never was. I mean, it was another kind of just kind of telling its own story. So I say that kind of stuff about miniseries and weird stuff like this, but
'Cause there's
with
precedence.
with the knowledge I have now, there is precedence to say that some of the stuff could get folded in. I mean, the character that the Shadow is saying he was Descartes, is a guy who trained Batman when before he was actually Batman.
Mm-hmm.
When Bruce Wayne first was wandering, trying to learn all he could learn about, detectiving and fighting and all that kind of stuff. This is one of the people who did train him. It just happens to be that really Descartes is this older guy who's been around since pre-World War One, who was a monstrous person, blah blah blah, the whole Shadow,
Right.
Origin stuff, whatnot. So that's interesting to me. That's an interesting pretext that the Shadow
The Shadow has been.
has been working
Sure.
on lots of heroes. Not all of them have made it, but and the premise of this is that Batman is the shining star of Gotham. He is the goodest of the good, and if the Stag takes Batman out, kills Batman, or has Batman killed, it allows him to get into Parabat, or whatever it's called, the Shangri-La
Oh, right, the Shangri-La place.
place that is where the Shadow gets his power from. And the concern is obviously if somebody who is evil and never came around to being good, like the Shadow, as much as the Shadow is good, then he'll have all this power and still be evil. It'll be obviously really scary. So
True. It's Shambhala.
Shambhala or something like that. Yeah.
The one that's in the song.
Shabba Ding Dong.
No.
Okay. Okay. So I'm enjoying it. We're halfway through. It's 6 issues, I believe. Yeah, 3 of 6. So I'm down. I'm down for the Rosmar. Nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta keep pimping him, Rosmar. I mean, because I own a couple pages, right? So I have to keep pimping him, so he
Oh.
becomes like the greatest artist ever. So if I ever choose to sell my art, I can get a lot more money
I
out
don't
of
think
it.
that's ever going to happen.
You never know. Could get senile someday and decide I want to sell it. Anyway, Blue Beetle, issue number 10. This is my perspective on it. It's a big yawn. Lots of blah, 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 blah. And oh no, the Beetle may not be the Beetle at the end because they beat the bad guys. The bad guys who were good guys at one point in the DC universe.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing.
I wasn't confusing. It's just boring. And of course the Terry. All this time, Terry has been the Flash from the 31st century,
Yes.
which of course, reading it, we're going, oh, this is the original of the version that's going to be in the New 52 version of the Justice League 3000 and 3001.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, it's the same writers. So they're just dragging their characters. They're just dragging their characters wherever they want to. So whatever. I don't know. I didn't really read this. I skimmed it. I looked at some of the pictures. I'm not a big fan of the artist. I'm not a big fan of Cole's, so
I read it.
yeah. So tell me about it.
It's exactly what you said. There's a lot of talking and a lot of worrying, and
Mm-hmm.
Ted's afraid he's going to have another heart attack. He takes meds a couple of different times because he's out there trying to fight
Sure.
that too. Blue Beetle's in Ted's old
Because
costume.
right, because Jamie doesn't have the Scarab anymore.
Right.
It's been taken over by
Jaime.
Sorry, Jaime.
I just want to say Jamie too.
Well, I normally say Jaime.
I'm proud of you.
Aaron.
I normally say it the wrong way.
You
I
know,
guess.
Orion has the Scarab for a while. They pull the Scarab back, and then by the end of it,
The Scarab talks to Jaime and says, "Hey, there's still a part of me in you." And then the Atlantean or whoever it is that has the Scarab decides that he's going to pull that out of Jaime, and instead the Scarab goes back in. But now the Scarab the Blue Beetle part is completely separate from Jaime.
Well-
Jaime is suppressed. He's not.
he's
controlling
overwritten. Right. It's his
he's not
body.
controlling
It's his
the Blue
body,
Beetle.
but he's not there anymore.
But I don't dislike, and of course we got Dr. Fate in there too.
Which I was excited about, but I'm not impressed.
So I guess we'll just see what happens.
No, we won't see what happens.
I guess other people who read this book can let us know what happened.
Exactly, because I'm dropping it.
I know, but do we have another one after this before? Because of the way that your comics come?
There might be one more.
We may or may not see what happened.
Right. There might be one more.
See, I really
Well, this is the end of an arc. This is the end of an arc.
Really?
It leaves you with a cliffhanger, but it's the end of an arc. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Never mind.
It actually says in the title, the end of, the final... Maybe not. It just says the sacrifice. I thought in this
I've
one...
been completely ruined for the word sacrifice by the Scooby-Doo movie.
Ah, okay.
Every time I see the word sacrifice or like that with an exclamation point, I hear Scooby say, "A rockrifice."
Yeah. But he basically, he ends up... I don't know, he looks exactly like the bad Beetles, like the Black Beetle from the Young Justice cartoon from a few years
Yes.
ago. Is what he looks like at the
He
end of
does.
it. I guess it doesn't say who's in charge here, but I got the impression that this was the end of the arc because they deal with everything else. They deal with the Atlantean threat that was going to, basically, he was going to wipe out everybody on the planet.
Right. He was going to
And start over. Or whatever.
So I guess, yeah, like I said, we will or we will not find out, but somebody will.
You know, OMAC was in this, but OMAC was kind of a throwaway. Yeah, they were all kind of a throw.
Yeah,
it was all kind of a throwaway
There was
kind of
a
thing.
cast of thousands, and none of them were really that interesting.
Right, exactly. So, yeah.
I
done.
like the basis. I like Jaime. I like him trying to figure out how the Beetle worked.
Mm-hmm.
I like the first run of Blue Beetle. I really enjoyed, where he spent a lot of his time talking to Bugsuit, and I liked them.
When you say first run, you mean pre-52 even.
Yeah, the first run of Jaime as the Blue,
Blue
Beetle,
Beetle.
that we read.
Excellent. Pick those trades up.
Yeah.
They're excellent.
Yes, with the crazy ant and
Yeah.
all of that. Yep.
And then they just recycled those same stories for the last 2 times.
Yes.
They recycled it with the New 52. They basically retold the Blue Beetle story haphazardly, little bits and pieces, and I didn't enjoy it all that much. Partially because it was telling me a story I already knew, having read it,
Truth.
and wasn't telling it as good. And to me, lots of this feels retreaded also.
It does, and his friendships are so much more watered down, too. The friendships that he has, and his female friend and his male friend.
But
and
it
the way they talk
has
to
the
each
crazy
other.
ant in this too.
Yeah, I
and
know.
she's a
She
crazy
doesn't-
ant.
She doesn't have time to be evil though, because we had every other being in the universe.
Oh, but she
thrown
is.
there.
She
Oh,
is.
Sure, she is, but yeah, we don't really need to hear it for the third.
So
time.
that's the unfortunate thing about Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle, Henry Reyes, Blue Beetle version of Blue Beetle, excellent character. They just need to tell some actual news stories.
I know. Can't he just
and
be the
whatnot.
Blue Beetle and
Right, be the youth superhero.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nope, clearly not. We're on to Detective, issue number 959, because we enjoyed the other 958 issues of it.
Sure we did.
Well, I didn't read the ones before Batman. I'll admit to that at least. Anyway, so what do you think? One night only,
I like
Zatanna.
Zatanna. I've always liked her. So,
Yeah.
it wasn't like I didn't think wow the entire time I read it or anything, but it was kind of a nice takeaway from, not takeaway, but a nice break from all of the devastation of
The Victim Syndicate and
all of that,
and the Monstermen
and Kate's dad and his craziness and
right, and Savant and,
and all of that.
League of Shadows.
Exactly, because it was that was a very long.
Just
constant-
went from one
it's
thing to the next.
monsters,
It's been
and now it's this,
spinning
and
out,
yeah,
right.
just constant craziness.
Mhm.
So it was kind of fun that he's there to just do a job. It's too bad about the monk guy getting killed, but it was
Right. So I mean, the story arc right now is somewhat centered around Azrael and the Saint Dumont.
and his suit.
Right, because his suit is basically a marginal AI that is built for him, to allow him to do his stuff, to be Azrael and whatnot. And we find out that the Saint Dumont, I want to say is what they're called, they had some other suits, and they actually had some full AIs. One of these full AIs is they've let it loose, and it's killing everything.
Right, because as far as it's concerned, it is the only Azrael. The only
Right. And so it's basically a killing machine, annihilating sin. And of course, in Gotham, everything is sinful. So it's just, it doesn't mow everybody down. But I mean, it wasn't that belligerent. But it definitely was going after. Really interesting when it runs into Azrael, because it sees itself.
Yeah, it gets
and it's like, wait,
it's confused.
you are me and you are fallen. How can you have fallen if you are me? So that was some interesting.
It's perfect.
Right, that was some interesting
Yeah.
part there. Other interesting aspects, of course, in this issue, we get some prehistory. Bruce and
Bruce trying to learn magic.
and Z, and that, which I enjoyed. It's always interesting to see exactly, because this is Rebirth, so it's a new basically kind of a new universe.
Right.
So now we get to kind of learn again, when did their relationship start? Because if you go way back before pre-52, they actually had encountered each other as children, from the streets of Gotham. I don't know if you remember that. From the streets of Gotham, she was part of the circus, and the circus would come through periodically, and the Canes and the which is Bruce's mom's half of the family, they kind of sponsored the circus type people and whatnot, and so them as kids hobnobbed to some degree.
Interesting.
So, Elliot, Hush, before he was Hush,
Right.
and Bruce and Z and a whole bunch of other people, they all kind of knew each other at one point. That was kind of
Interesting.
that was how they operated. So I'm always curious to see where they give the introduction of them at. Basically, the only reason he knows Z is because he's actually there to talk with Zatara, her father. He wants to learn.
He's trying to learn.
Well, he's trying to learn everything about everything.
Right.
and he's frustrated because he can't even do a sleight of hand with a coin. He can't even do the coin trick. And until he masters the coin trick, masters, not just to be able to do it, but masters the coin trick, he won't go on to the next thing. And how many more corny things does he have to learn
Right, right.
before we get to the real stuff? And he's frustrated, and Z kind of helps him out there and whatnot. And
But it sounds like one of their answers it was not a good answer.
well, so fast forward to now, and she's kind of like, oh, I know why you kind of invited me to come to Gotham. You know, you wanted something from me or whatever. What is it? Kind of thing, because I know you, Bruce. And he's like, well, yeah, I want you. You know, we had some conversation back in the day, and you kind of offered something. And they don't tell us exactly what it is. And she's like, oh, well, you know, I was kind of young and brash, and probably kind of get the impression she shouldn't have offered whatever it was. And he's like, yeah, I don't care. I want it. And he brings up like a hologram or whatever. This is where the comic goes bad for me, because I enjoyed it up to this point. Tim Drake. Which I hate Tim Drake, so
Yeah,
as soon as he shows up in the comic, I'm like, oh, it just dropped. You know, it's not nearly as good now. But you write a picture of him, and Bruce wants something. My guess is he's asking for like foreknowledge, because he doesn't want any of these people to get hurt again. He wants to know what's happening all the time. You know, so he wants to be some sort of omnipotent or something.
Yeah,
So
I
he
don't
knows
think omniscience and Bruce are two things that should go together. I think that will.
he's
tear-
already kind of a know-it-all, isn't he? A know-it-all,
he's
isn't he?
a know-it-all, but he's not truly omniscient.
Right.
And I think that could potentially, if that's what it is, that could destroy him.
Well, sure.
Because there's way too much going on that he can't fix, and he has that
If he knows about it, he's gonna fix
exactly.
it all.
He's got that complex where he has to save the world, and so I think that's
It's part of being a superhero.
Yeah, I know, but
He's a little more driven than most.
yes, because
Yeah.
he's mentally ill.
So that's interesting. Mentally ill? Batman is not mentally ill.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so you know, so she's kind of like, and that's kind of where it ends. That kind of, ooh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
So I guess we'll find out. Or
Well,
not.
because we know, because we, the audience, know that Tim Drake is not actually dead, even though everybody else thinks he is dead.
I know, and it's driving us crazy
Well,
because it's hurting
no.
so many people.
It's not driving me
It's
crazy at all.
driving me crazy.
I
because
love it.
It would make
I love
Spoiler's
it.
life so much
I
better
love
to
it.
know that he was alive. She wouldn't have gone through all of this, thing where.
Maybe.
I think that I understand where she's coming from, but that has nothing to do with comic book reading right now, so we don't really need to talk
Right.
about it right
Well, it'll show back up at some point.
now. Sure.
But at any rate, so I'm perfectly happy with faux dead Tim Drake or real dead Tim Drake. Him
We
not
all
being in the
know.
comic
We all
just
know. You
all
might-
makes
you
it
probably called 100
makes
times
it a
to get
quality.
them
But
off.
well, so here's the problem: is
You did call, didn't you, back in the day?
that was Jason Todd.
Ah, Jason Todd. Sorry.
Which
Sorry.
you know what? I was actually reading Batman and Detective Comics when he got off, and I didn't have a problem with the guy. I know a lot of people thought he was a punk, but yes, I would have called and had him killed. Are you kidding? The mere idea that we could actually, us the
Murderer.
audience, whack the dude? Hell yeah.
Wasn't it a thing? I mean, didn't you get to call and say whether or not you thought
But
he
we
was
couldn't.
alive?
Yes, it was a thing. We could do it. We couldn't because we all had
Rotary dial phones.
rotary phones, and at the
Yeah.
time because you would dial in
You had
and you
to
push
press one
you press a
for-
one or whatever, and you couldn't press.
Yeah. Well, at where we live,
Yeah,
it took a long
Dark
time
Ages.
for all that stuff to come to us.
We just got computers a little while ago, so.
Yeah, like 3 months ago.
But at any rate, so I didn't get it off Jason Todd, but I sure as hell would have. Any rate, because I'm horrible that way. But the thing is with
Sorry,
Tim Drake.
everybody, I got confused.
Yes, the
about
thing with
that.
Tim
Robin.
Drake is, Tynion the Fourth. That is his favorite DC character, is Tim Drake. So I was shocked that this whole time he's pulled him out of the book, because as soon as I heard that was his absolute favorite character, was this
I'm
version of
surprised that
Robin,
he's not taking
and I thought,
time to-
oh my
to-
God,
to
this
write it.
I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna end up dropping
Did you
Detective
just think
Comics
it was going to be the Tim Drake
because
show?
it was gonna be the Tim Drake show.
Well, it sounds like
some-
Mr.
at-
Tinian or however he
At
says
some
his
point,
name is,
at some point, it's going to be. It's going to be that,
yes. Well, he's being patient.
and I'll have to write DC and say, please, make it stop. So, anyway, and I know a lot of people love Tim Drake
Yeah.
because there was a whole run of Robin.
All the Robins have been damaged or almost killed in some aspect or another. So what was his? What happened to him?
He just got killed.
No, just now. But
Yeah.
previously, nothing?
No, he's
Oh,
the
okay.
golden boy. He's the perfect detective. He is the better detective than Batman is.
Which
blah
is
blah blah
why
blah
you
blah.
don't like him.
Yes, this is all the reason I like him. It makes no
Okay.
sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. No,
Okay.
despise him. I will once again say, for the record, during Identity Crisis, that wonderful maxi series, when Captain Boomerang threw the boomerang, he should have missed Dad and hit Tim instead.
That would have made your life complete.
It would have been awesome. Would have been a great
and
story.
if that had
it would have
happened,
been
you could
tragic.
start sending DC boomerangs.
Heck yeah.
Because if you hated Jason Todd, and you had
Oh, I didn't hate Jason Todd, though.
I know, but if you did, you could start sending them with crowbars.
Crowbars, yeah. Anyway,
Okay,
this is the death. This
that's
is the
enough
death
of
of him.
that.
Now the running gag is the only Batman sidekick that hasn't been killed is Duke. Who I don't care for Duke either. So I'm a hater.
We know it's okay.
I hate Reed. That's how I read all my comic books. Hate Reed. Anyway,
Aw.
yes. But I'm enjoying Detective Comics. You know, even with the Tim Drake thing there. I mean, I'm enjoying it as a whole. I really like this artist, Martinez. The art in this issue was really good. I can't remember if he did the last issue, but they need to get this Martinez and Fernandez on
It is good.
on a book.
It's-
I love all these. You know, I don't know how much this is writer request versus artist's choice, but there's these double page, spreads where it's some boxes at the top. You get this great middle or bottom section kind of thing. There's quite a bit of that. So I almost think it's this guy's style because we haven't seen a lot of that before this, and you'd think if it was the writer Tinian making those panel choices all the time, we'd get more stories that look like that, right? There's a great shot of Z pitching some lightning around and whatnot. So, but I really liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I like the characters' faces. I like the glare on that's pretty awful. At any rate, so some interesting stuff. I mean, I continue to enjoy Batman. I don't know that it blows my mind, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. I really liked that page where they're on the rooftop talking about the present and what he's after. Yes, he just magically off of his fingertips, he's got a hollow picture of
Of course.
gag. Anyway, so that's Detective. On to
Hellblazer.
Hellblazer.
It's weird
Issue
having that in the
issue number
hero
11.
books.
Well, I put it in the hero books because it
Well,
doesn't.
it's DC. It's not the real. Yeah.
Yeah, and he operates not as bad as what it was for a while.
But he is still operating within the DC universe.
Well, not just that, he's still more action hero-y
Yeah.
than he was old John Constantine. Anyway,
So this is the Jin story arc, which seems to be going on
Forever!
For a very, very. I'm glad I'm not alone in this.
Oh, God,
For a
no.
very long time, and this whole little side thing with what's her name,
Mercy,
Mercy, and her little
her name Mercy?
secretly
her
yeah,
secret Jin.
Yeah, secretly a tucked away Jin that Constantine doesn't know is in her brain, in her head, talking to her.
Yes or no? We
About
don't.
stuff.
Yes or no?
Oh, that's true. Okay, we have not.
As the
seen-
audience, we have
Yeah.
we don't know that
Mercy
John has
does
knowledge.
Not believe that John knows about
Right.
him.
Mm-hmm.
The floating shoe, pretty fun. And I like that character, the boy and his sister.
Yeah.
The young man and
Right.
his sister. I like them. I like how he is. I like
Right.
who he is.
Yeah. So this
So
this
that part's fine. I'm
this
getting tired of the Jin taking over the world. It's like we need to get to
well, yeah this
the culmination.
this
of
trying to find the journal has taken like I don't know 6 issues.
a long time.
Yeah, and with the dancing shoe that just my was talking about is he literally has a shoe from the person who stole the journal that they need to get. That's supposedly to give them the information so they know exactly what's happening because the magic community in England seems to be under some level of crazy pressure and whatnot. If I remember correctly, this is how this all started.
Yes.
And so, of course, John wants to get that squared away because that affects him. But he literally had the shoe. They're in France, and they need this journal. And so he actually makes this shoe, does actual magic and makes this shoe hop around, and everybody takes pictures of it, of course, because everybody carries their cell phones around, and it gets posted
And I
on.
knew he was gonna be
It
doing
gets
something
posted.
with the shoe.
It gets posted on the social media type places that attracts this guy back. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
Finally, but he's been dragging the shoe around with him for like 4 or 5 issues.
Yes, forever.
Now. But I'm not enjoying this much at all. it's really kind of boring, and I'm not
It is.
I'm not a fan of the art style either. Um,
Yeah, there's some fun. Like I said, I like the young man whose shoe it is. His character.
oh no, I take it back. What this all starts from is Swamp Thing was looking for Abigail because she had disappeared.
That's right.
The rot and disappeared, and so they went looking for her, and in the process got themselves all tied into this. Holy crap!
Yeah, a long
That was like
time.
issue 3 or
a
something.
long time. And
We're on issue 11.
so, they need to finish this out.
Yeah.
I'm with you. It's got some of the like. There's the humor is still there to an extent, but it's. Yeah, I'm with you. It's just going on for far too long. It's boring.
Yeah.
And I guess
doesn't
they
feel
haven't-
impact.
And they haven't made me. I mean, do I want the Jinn to take over the world? No, but they haven't really given me enough about the Jinn themselves to care about
Right.
them or
Right.
to understand why suddenly they're making.
Well,
this
they've given
movie.
it. They've given some idea. The fact is the Jinn walked the earth before man was made, and
Yes.
then man got made, and
Right.
Jinn thought that they were going to be the equivalent of man. That they were going to be. They were going to be it. They were
Right,
God's
and they
favorites.
and they became enslaved to man instead because
Right.
God loved man.
Right.
But
So it's basically the
Yeah, I
angel
understand.
story. They're just using jinns
to
instead of the
extent,
angels.
right? I guess
It-
maybe
it-
it's also just a very old story.
Well, it's not just that. It doesn't feel very pressing. It doesn't feel
Well, obviously, it's been going on for like
well, right.
7 issues.
Well, right, but I mean, there are. If you go back and then maybe fair comparison or unfair comparison, go back to the original Vertigo Hellblazer, and there were arcs that were long arcs. There was stuff that haunted him for forever that kept showing up and haunted
sure.
him. But it had gravity.
Well, right.
It was dark. It was. This is miserable.
And
Great
you-
to read, but oh my gosh, this is miserable. You
And
felt
cared-
the
and
misery.
you cared about it.
Right. And you don't in this.
No.
Some of it's the art. Like I said, I think it's very flat and
Yeah, and I don't always like that Constantine looks, kiddish.
yeah.
He's a baby face. I'm sorry, but your average drinking chain smoker doesn't have a baby face.
Even if he is young.
Yeah,
even if they
even
have
if
put him
he
back to being
is
young.
younger.
Yeah. So I hang on to the book because, of course, it's Hellblazer and it's not awful. It's not bad like it was around the New 52. There was a time when I dropped it because I
Right.
didn't like as much as I'm a fan of the character. I'm also hanging on because Tim Seeley's going to be taking over. Tim Seeley, for people who don't know or don't remember, wrote Revival. Just to get an idea of some stuff. He wrote Hack and
Okay,
Slash,
then yes, I would
which
be
is
hoping
so.
for better.
So I mean, he's also writing Nightwing, which is not. I'm not enthralled by Nightwing either. The Nightwing
Yeah, but I
book,
enjoy Nightwing.
but
I like Nightwing better than Hellblazer.
so I have hope.
And that's sad because Hellblazer used to be that was back in the Vertigo days.
Right.
But when you were first collecting comics, Hellblazer,
Way back in the
Yeah,
day,
seriously, way back.
1985, 6, yeah.
anyway, Hellblazer and
Sandman.
Sandman, thank you, were the two things that I pulled off the top of your pulled out of your comics first to read when I was reading your comics because those were the two stories that I was the most into. So, yeah.
So at any rate, like I said, hopefully that'll perk it up. They'll take it in a different direction or
Let's
whatnot. So anyway.
We're not asking for Vertigo. We're just asking for a decent story and better art.
Yeah, but I don't see why they can't tell that same story. It's in
Well,
Vertigo.
I don't-
Maybe he doesn't cuss, or maybe they continue to use the stupid pentagrams
Right.
when he
But
cusses.
We're not going to ever get. I mean, I don't feel like we need to rehash and get Piffy back. Or,
Oh no! That'll
That's
never
what I'd say
happen.
we're not asking for. We're not
No.
asking for.
But that's
that
style.
kind of- yeah,
But that's
yes,
style.
that would be nice.
There's no reason for that to not be.
Right.
Because we're not in the New 52 anymore. In the New 52, I understood why it was the way it was. Because, the mandate of all the New 52 books was they all had to basically be action movie comic books is what they had to be. You could only go so many pages, but there had to be action.
That's
Kind of thing.
silly.
Well, whatever. That was how all the comics were, because that's
Sure.
what the audience supposedly was wanting. So that's what they went. That's what they went with. So.
Yeah.
But they should be able to change that now. There's nothing that says the best of my knowledge, that all of these books have to be written in the same style. That was the problem in the New 52. They were all written in the same style. Now we should be able to write and tell stories in different kind of things. You know, it's either that or move him off of this imprint and put him on Young Animal imprint, or I don't know, throw him in the Wildstorm universe and let Warren Ellis write him again, which would be funny because that's the book that made Warren Ellis swear he was never going to work for DC again.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but at any rate, they just need to do something else with it.
Sure.
Anyway, onward and outward. Another of the Looney Tune one-shots. This is Jonah Hex and Yosemite Sam. Did you actually read this, or did you not read it because I
did not
badmouthed
read it
it?
because you said it sucked.
I really didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it at all, and I was really disappointed because Jimmy Paoloni is the writer on the book, and he's written Jonah Hex, almost exclusively written all of the Jonah Hex for the last 7-8 years. There's been a Jonah Hex book. He's been the one that's been writing it. Justin Gray's been writing it along with him, pre-52 and then the New 52 version of the character. You know, so I thought that would be okay. You know, you got Yosemite Sam in here. Could be fun because they're all, you know, he's a gold miner.
Right.
You know, Yosemite Sam is and whatnot.
That's a good universe for him to be in.
They actually have Loghorn.
Philip on Leghorn, he looks like he actually had
He
a
does.
speak.
He does. He's a pugilist. You know, he's a boxer for the circus. He's with the circus freaks. So that's why he looks all feathery, because he's a freak. You know, he has feathers for whatever reason. So he's in this. So characters that could be interesting and whatnot.
Sure. Well, because they were interesting in the other book.
No, they're not though. They're not at all. This is, you know, we kind of established that Hex is a badass, and Yosemite finds gold and needs somebody to protect him because everybody else is finding out that he's got gold, and they're going to take his claim. And there's kind of a crazy shootout. What's his face? Foghorn Leghorn. You know, kind of friends with Sam, but it was a lot of pages of stupid. I mean, it was meaningless. It was meaningless. It didn't have any. Now, granted, I read the Elmer Fudd Batman one, which was really, I mean, legitimately good.
Right.
But this wasn't even marginal, in my opinion.
Oh, that's too bad.
You know, they could have went one direction or the other with it, made it funny or made it real serious and stuff, and they did neither. They kind of walked the line between committing to anything, is how it felt to me. So just really,
that's too bad.
boo.
I'm not sorry, I didn't read it.
Yeah, not worth my $4.99. So, Committee Challenge issue number 6, another book I'm not excited by. You talk.
I really hadn't been enjoying it, but after he got all of his organs removed, I was thinking that's an
awesome cliffhanger.
Quite the move by the previous author to give to the current author.
Right.
And then
Creators,
I don't know,
not his author. Creators.
I just feel like
we're not getting a real story.
Yeah.
They're just how can the creators
screw
before it screw over the next person?
Exactly.
Which is what the challenge is. I get it. It frustrates me personally because I am a Commandy fan and I want to read some good Commandy stories.
And I miss there are characters that they just get rid of, and I miss them. I miss the plant girl. I thought she was.
I want
liked
Flower.
her.
I want the real girl from the Commandy book.
Well, I haven't read Commandy, so I don't know. I know sacrilege, but never have. And so yeah, if this is my exposure to Commandy, it could be better.
Which is my worry. Because there's tons of people who haven't read Commandy. So this is the first thing. You're getting this spastic story that never commits to anything.
No, they spend more time moving from one place to another than they do anything else.
Well, it's not just that. They spend the entire book trying to figure out how to, reproduce his organs to put back in his body. And then at the very last page go, oh crap, I gotta leave something for the next creators and drop another bomb of some sort.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like this one.
I haven't liked it since probably issue 3. But you've liked it, so I've been buying it and muscling through because there's still 6 more issues.
I'm proud of you, and you don't have to anymore.
Well, I'll be at 9, so I might as well get the last 3 at this point. I
always read the back matter.
Oh, I don't.
And I didn't read it this time. I was just I made it through it. I'm done.
Yep, I have better things to do.
So yeah, and I'm sad about that.
Yep.
Because it was kind of fun being kind of light and silly.
Sure.
In a way. Just like a fun adventure story.
So it would have been great if it had only been 6 issues long. If this would have been the end somehow. Not this story in particular, but if it would have ended in 6 issues, it would have served its purpose of the challenge and the kind of goofiness of it, and we could have been done.
Yeah, that probably would have been fine.
But a year's
But
worth
he
of
would
this?
have, because he's not getting anywhere. He hasn't found anything he needs to find. Nothing happens to him except
Because those
for-
questions aren't important. They're too busy gutting him and then having to put him back together again
yeah,
or whatever.
Well, yeah. Seriously. The bomb about to explode, all those kinds of things. I'm sorry to be bringing in other literary things. I mean, I've already done a terrible Scooby-Doo impression. But
That's literary? Oh.
hey, it's,
Okay.
it's a cartoon.
That's literary?
Okay, fine. Not
Anyway.
literary, but other
Right.
pop culture
Mhm.
references.
Mhm.
But in the book and the movie Misery, when she doesn't like the ending of his book, and she talks about the cliffhanger that was just impossible in the next,
Mhm.
in the the serial movies, and like, oh my goodness, he's going over the cliff in a car. How are we ever going to fix him? I guess I'm just kind of done with that. The put a girl in a bomb. Awesome idea. Oh, sudden swooping birds. Great. Saved by this. But having all of your organs removed and miraculously being alive long enough to have them put together is just ridiculous.
Mm.
I don't know.
Well, they didn't explain that very well.
No, not at all.
I mean, because I was actually excited by him being gutted, because I mean, like,
And
oh
the-
wow, how are they
how are they
going
gonna
to get out of that?
And the doctor, I thought
Yeah.
they could have gotten a lot more into him, because isn't he the doctor, the supposedly great doctor with the cure that the tiger was looking for? And he just turned out to be this evil experimenter,
And dead?
Yeah, he's dead now. So they could have done more with it, but it's
But they couldn't because of the format.
right.
Yeah.
So
I mean, now don't get me wrong. The original Commandy has lots of those kind of. It's very cliffhangery.
Sure.
It's very single issue story.
what's going to happen to our?
But you
hero
feel
next?
like from point A to point B, from the beginning to the end, you got a story. This one you don't, and some sort of meaning. Plus, it's just awesome Kirby art too. But it
I'm
was
gonna
very,
have to take a
it was
look
very kind of whimsical
at your
and
Commandy
and crazy and whatnot. And this just doesn't capture it in the same sort of way.
Like
for
I
me.
said, this issue was a disappointment. I mean, I knew they were going to save him, but it was just.
Well, clearly there's still 6 more issues.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, no matter what, he's going to get out of it.
Yeah. Anyway, on to Mother Panic, issue number 8.
I wasn't totally crazy about Mother Panic when it first came out.
Best Bat book out.
Because I had to get used to, because these are all completely new characters and just
Mhm.
trying to, but her origin story has slowly been coming out and finding out, oh my gosh, she went to the absolute,
Worst orphanage school ever.
yeah, I mean, it makes where, in the Marvel universe, it makes where, what's her name? The
I have no idea.
red hair, Scarlet,
Come on, there's like a million
Scarlet.
people. There's like a million people who have red hair.
speaks Russian. We just finished an arc.
Black Widow.
Thank you. I'm like Spider Lady. Sorry, guys. It makes
It's like redhead. It's like that's like 1,000 characters.
I know, so many.
Oh.
But yeah, it makes the Black Widow
Yeah,
school
be taught to be an assassin.
look like a spa.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
And to have taken complete control of everything about them, the way that they did, and I'm wondering, is there going to be some school official that comes out at some point that she's going to want to take some sort of revenge on, and she's not
Oh,
going
I'm
to be
sure.
able to, and there's so many places this can go. So I have actually come to really enjoy this book, and I love her mom. I do.
Crazy mom.
I do. I love her mom, and I love the fact that she's made this safe place for her.
Mm-hmm.
This
Who
beautiful
made?
garden.
You mean Violet's made a safe place for her mom?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, her mom obviously was unable to make any kind of safe place for Violet because, holy crap, she went to the boarding school of the damned.
Right.
But yeah, I like that. And the rat guy, I mean,
Ratcatcher. Yeah.
he's
That's a great use of a
An
kind of
obscure
an
character.
obscure Batman villain to reuse him
Yeah,
to attach it to Gotham further without having to show Batman in every damn
Which
or
is-
a Bat person. I don't mind that because she's in Gotham, so I mean
Sure,
I get it.
you're gonna run into
But you don't have to. But we don't have to worry about it. It's like you don't have to keep putting another established Bat hero in it to let us keep reminding us that we're in Gotham.
Yeah, we know. They mention it every time.
Well, yeah, because she fucking hates Gotham. Excuse my language. But that's why I love because she.
I know.
Really hates
Everybody else
Gotham.
is like, la la la, Gotham.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
the
else
crowded place was
everybody
a
else
shining jewel.
right, everybody else romances
And they wanted
it,
to save
and she does not.
She's just like, God, I can't believe I'm here again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Love
so
it.
I like all of the under things, and I like her team.
Yeah, the doctor that's trying to keep her from killing herself because
Exactly,
she's falling
because
apart.
she
And she's also established last issue that she's in love with, has a thing for Violet, which just makes it all the more,
Yes.
complicated as far as
And-
that goes. Violet doesn't recognize that though,
Yeah.
kind of thing,
Well,
because
she's kinda-
Violet's way too into her own head.
Yeah, she is very turned inward into trying
Yeah.
to do what she feels like she needs
Mhm.
to do, just track down these people.
Mhm.
And it's a little bit Bruce Wayne-ish, but not really. Her cover story,
Oh,
who
that
she
she's a
is on
dilettante.
the
That she's a
outside.
dilettante,
She's like,
right? Because she came from a rich family.
this
Mhm.
celebrity,
Sure.
rich girl, Paris Hilton-y kind of girl. Only thank God she doesn't carry a small dog in a purse. But she's the bad girl who
Yeah.
gets into scrapes,
Yeah,
and so that's a little bit.
that doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Well, I don't. I always maybe I'm a little Pollyanna person, but I always hate it when the public thinks so poorly of someone who is actually such a good person.
Right.
And Bruce has kind of come out of that. To an
Yeah, as I say,
extent.
Bruce
In
isn't.
movies, he was still like that for quite a while.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne isn't quite he's still a playboy, but he's
He
always
does so much charity work
Right.
and stuff like that, and
right.
tends
That
to occasionally actually show up
that
at
people
his dinners
forgive
that he
some of his
Right.
the fact he's got a new model hanging off his arm each
He's
week.
got a good core,
Mhm.
and people I think recognize that now.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that she needs that, but
No.
my little inner self is like, if only you knew what I know.
No, but I don't.
But
But
she
see, I don't
is a
look at.
mess. That's true.
She's
This
struggling.
particular
She
character
is
a mess.
She is struggling with that though. I mean, she does not want to be a hero. She is not doing this to be a hero at all. She is here to wreck the people who wrecked her life. That is the sole
That is
reason she's
true.
here.
And it is
and
kind
then
of like
she
a side thing.
and then
She's
she
like,
has
"Damn it,
and then
the
she
little
has
girl hugs her.
especially this issue. In this issue, it does such a great job of her going, I'm not right for this. I mean, I'm not. This is not my thing. She should get Batman or something like that to help her because I just don't. She should go. And then she realizes that, well, she doesn't have anybody. Just like she doesn't. Just like Violet feels like she doesn't have anybody. So there's this nagging thing that says she needs to help because of the position that girl's in.
Right.
But she does not want to be a hero. I mean, and I love this issue because she spends a certain amount of time going, okay, I'm not a hero. But if I need to be a hero, if I was Batman, how would Batman go about doing this? What's his modus of operation? How does he... I mean, she actually goes down into the basement to find Ratcatcher to go, when you were going up against Batman, and he's like, I don't want to talk about that because he got his ass beat all the time. How does he do it? How does he detect? How does that work? Because she doesn't know. Because that's not what she's about.
Right.
She's here to wreck some people.
So do you think
I love all that.
her plan is to do all of that, wrecking all of the people, then get her body put together in some other, final way and then be done?
I don't think she cares. She's gonna wreck everything and
I'm sure she doesn't care what happens to her at the end. But do you think that that in her plan, that should she live, she's just gonna not do this ever again and just go live whatever kind of life, take care of her mom?
she's gonna light herself on fire and burn up.
Why do you like her so much?
That's what I see. I mean, I see her at the end of this. I mean, I think she does not care. I think she wants to wreck the people that she needs to wreck. Maybe there's part of her that's concerned enough about her mother to keep herself around to make sure that nothing happens to her mother. But beyond that, she has really zero good in her life to live for or whatever. So I think she wrecks all these people, and at the very end of it, she can go up in a big giant funeral pyre and she'd be fine.
Okay.
I love
guess
the book.
I guess
To
we'll
me,
see.
it's still the best Bat book.
Because you like yourself some anti-heroes. I
Yes.
guess.
Yes. I love that whole thing. The whole where she does not want to be the hero and she gets kind of stuck in this. And it's not stuck in a corny kind of a way. I mean, the entire time, it's like pulling teeth for her to be doing this. You could, to me, I can see and feel the actual struggle of her. I mean, I don't want to be doing this, but this is unacceptable because I don't want anything that was happened to me to happen to somebody else.
Exactly.
But she's not taking it Bruce Wayne level. Where it's going to wipe out all crime.
She's gonna
It's
do this
personal.
one thing because she
right.
has to.
Because it's this one girl. Somebody getting mugged down the street. Whatever. I don't care. It's this. it happened to be this moment. So she's locked into this moment because of that, but does not care about the greater or whatever.
Okay.
You know, and I love all those
I'm
aspects
gonna
of
have
it.
to start reading this more closely because you're getting more out of it than I am.
And having been a person who's had back pain in my life, I can so relate to the panels in here where because she's got
stumbled
a
over.
cybernetic implant in her back and it's failing, and so she's in crazy pain. And the way they've drawn it with her and this jagged red panel behind her as she's lancing over it, totally relate with that too. So anyway, on to Supergirl being super. Issue book 4. This is the final of the 4
Yes.
books. Wonderful Jolene Joan art. That's the reason I picked up in the first place. It's not like I don't have some sense of who Supergirl is, and this is
Right.
kind of a not origin story, but kind of telling of stuff she did very early on before she's established herself
Right.
as Supergirl.
Yes.
What do you think?
I liked the 4th book better than the previous 3.
Okay.
I like the way they ended it.
Mm-hmm.
I've always liked her friends.
Yeah, she's got cool high school friends.
Yeah, and George, right? That's the name of the. Is it George?
I thought it was like Bill, something like that.
The purple-haired
Yeah,
person.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, so I should probably not lean over into the camera.
Our gray, our yeah, I don't know what her name is. Doesn't really matter. It's not gonna say. So anyway,
Well, it does, because. Wait, right there. Dolly, we're so wrong.
We read the comic.
wrong. Oh my god.
at any rate,
But I like Dolly, I guess, because it just doesn't feel like her name fits her, but obviously it does, because that's her name. I like Dolly a lot, and I liked how she dealt with things.
sure.
Okay. Why'd you just give me that look?
No, fine. So you like the character who's on I don't know 5 or 6 panels in the book?
In that issue.
Yeah.
But previously,
No, she's a good character.
Yeah.
She's a good character to bounce off. I mean, because in this, she ends up being the character that kind of introduces Supergirl, before she's Supergirl, to Superman. Hey, there's this other guy in Metropolis who seems to have a lot of the same
Right,
things in common
exactly.
power-wise. You should go check him out and find out
Yeah.
what that's all about and whatnot. So that was cool. I mean,
and I
that's
felt like the doctor villain, who's not really, like Coach.
right.
I felt like that whole thing, that was a pretty complicated and interesting reason to be evil. Trying to power the world on.
Right.
But I felt like
Yeah.
like the other Kryptonian
Mhm.
was. I thought I understand that he experienced pain and pain only.
Like
horrible.
35 years worth of torture.
Oh gosh, I forgot about that. Was
Started in 86 or 85.
Okay. So
And
I
this
guess
is
I
and this
wanted
is
to destroy everything,
2017.
But
So they basically experimented on him, equivalent torture, cut him open, did whatever they needed to, because they see him as being kind of like how Kryptonians absorb the sun, if
they
they
make
could,
their powers.
right,
Yeah.
that they could use that as a superpower source for Earth. So
And he
good
obviously got
intentions,
picked up by the wrong people.
good intentions, but clearly horrible. Well, it's not just that. He got picked up by the U.S. government, which of course, U.S. government's evil. Clearly, in the 80s, who was president in the 80s?
Yes.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
And he came from Krypton before Krypton was blown up. So he was going there with I will not interfere, I will not use my powers, I will not do all this stuff, and got screwed basically
Right.
because
He was like an pre-emissary.
right. So he got screwed, and so he's horribly violent and whatnot, kind of a thing, whatever. I mean,
But I found him to be kind of shallow.
okay. One note, very
Yes.
one note. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just here to destroy everything. And girl, you're stupid because
Right.
Kara, you're stupid because clearly she wanted to destroy everything too for Krypton. I mean, I would have liked if they would have explored the idea because he didn't realize that Krypton was gone. She's like, no, it's gone. It blew up. I mean, I remember now
Right.
why I was sent here to Earth. I wasn't here for kicks and giggles. I was sent here because the planet was dying.
Yeah, to be saved.
Right. But yeah. I still enjoyed it. I like this format. This
Yeah.
this bigger,
The bigger
thicker.
story, yeah.
It costs more, but there's no ads in it at all, so that's great. No
Yeah, it
disruptive.
is very chock full of story.
Yeah, it's not disruptive as far as all that goes. So I enjoyed it. Same writer who writes She-Hulk or Hulk right
So
now.
do we assume now that it's over that their little tracker band thingies that they were all wearing was just a ruse to check
This is a monitor. They're monitoring her.
to check?
She
her
kind of
out?
says that. I mean, she
Well,
accuses
yeah,
them of that.
The reason why everybody in the track team got one was just
Right. So it
because
wouldn't be.
was
Why
really
would the
singling
coach
her out.
just be giving it to just her?
Yeah, exactly.
Because she made it a point of running average to not beat everybody else, even though,
Right,
being
she is Supergirl.
Supergirl. Right.
Okay.
Finally, this week we read Wonder Woman, or at least I did anyway. Wonder Woman issue number 25.
I did too.
The Perfect.
Yep.
What do you think?
Um,
The swan song of the Wonder Woman rebirth team. Nicholas Scott's been out the book for a little while now, but this is Greg Rucka's last issue writing it. Liam Sharp's last issue drawing on it. Brisk Everly's last issue drawing on it.
and so they did
Kind of
bring a
closes
lot
this
of the
story.
beginning elements into the end elements, all of her gods and in their animal forms and
patrons,
stuff
mhm.
like that. And I'm glad that she let herself get angry, and I'm glad that she was able to resolve her issue, her missing.
Right, because she lost the lasso, and that ends up coming back to her, and that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's interesting that she gets mad because she feels like her patrons, the gods, have kind of shafted her. I mean, they are the ones that clouded her memory. They're the ones that are hiding Themyscira from her. They're the ones doing all this stuff, and she's just really angry. She felt like she should have been treated better than that. She's angry about it. She goes to basically chew them out around that, and they kind of, okay, but here's all this stuff you got to do, all this stuff you've dreamed of.
Right.
We basically,
We gave everything. We gave everything.
right.
But that's the thing is that you have to realize with patrons or gods or anything like that, there's always a some sort of price to
Well, everything in life is
when
that way.
you're-
Even if it's simple,
Right.
there's payment for basically everything.
Exactly.
So I really I like
liked
those
it a lot.
episodes. I love the beginning of it. We get to see her just kick the living stuffings out of something. The rest of Justice League struggling to deal with this guy, and she just flies in.
Yeah,
and
she's like, oh, hi, I was busy. Here
smacks
we go. Bing.
them all around over her,
Done.
and she's
Okay.
mad, and they clearly know she's mad. And I love the
Yeah,
conversation
but
where
between
they.
Superman and Batman.
Yeah,
and
the
Wonder
Trinity,
Woman.
they're off
Yes.
in their like secret place, and
I love
it's
those
like,
guys.
and they're like, wow, you seem, well, and it's like, well, angry. And she's like, what, I can't be angry? And they're like, no, you being angry, we all listen to that. If you're angry, there's a good reason for being angry, and all we want to do is help you out. And we notice your lasso's gone. But I just love that. I just love how much respect they have for her, because she's like, what, I can't be mad? And they're like,
Right.
no, that's
Right.
perfectly fine.
They're not
because
doing
we
that.
know
You're a girl and
right?
you should
Because
get
we
angry
know
about it.
when you're angry, it's real. It's for real. It's not some petty, stupid something. And we just want to know if we can help because we're your friends.
Right. You
Loved all
didn't
that.
spill coffee on your outfit. You are
Exactly.
legitimately
Yeah.
pissed.
And as much as I liked Liam Sharp's artwork through this whole, through the whole run,
Yeah.
Brisk Everly's art is so much better in my opinion. Her parts in this, I just love way more than Liam Sharp parts.
And I,
Get her on another book I can collect.
it's too bad about Cheetah.
Yeah, she's messed up, and will continue to be messed up.
Yeah.
But that keeps her a supervillain, right? If they
I
kept her as
guess.
Minerva forever, then that'd be one. That's
I
like
know.
that's like the one big. That's like the one big. Everybody can name supervillain of Wonder Woman is Cheetah. Name another Wonder Woman, recurring Wonder Woman villain.
I am not as familiar with Wonder Woman's villains, so because it feels like the Wonder Woman I've read it's been other things, not.
Well, we read like
Rogues
Gail.
Gallery.
We read like Gail Simone's Wonder Woman,
Yeah,
but
but
she
that-
used all new people because
Right.
there isn't much of one. So they can't suddenly make Cheetah not a villain. Anyway, anything else you want to say about it?
Nope. I enjoyed it. I hope that what's next to Wonder Woman is good because it always makes you nervous when you.
Oh, it's going to be interesting
Switch
because
things up.
we get an arc that's written and drawn by the people who have been doing the young girls superhero book. So I have no idea what that's going to be like whatsoever. I'm open to it. I'm just going to read it and see what it is,
Sure.
or whatever. Then the arc after that is written by James Robinson, and it has to do with Wonder Woman's brother, the only boy on Themyscira. Yeah. And this is my voice is giving me a scrunched up face.
Like, what?
Exactly, because there are no men on Themyscira,
Oh,
right?
she never had a brother.
So this is a
okay.
story arc that it was a story thread that Jeff Johns put out in the Dark Side War for the Justice League and the New 52, stuff we did not read, that for whatever reason somebody feels like they need to continue that story, which I think is wholly a bummer. I mean, I'm still going to get it at this point because I don't. It's like I know really what it's going to be, but as we start getting closer, if I get the sense that it really is going to be a story about a dude, as opposed to a story about Wonder Woman, I'll be done. As much as I want to read a Wonder Woman book, to me it just seems.
Yes, but you want to read it.
To me, it just seems incredibly stupid with the success of the movie
Yeah, exactly.
and whatnot.
To take her to put her on the sidelines of her own book.
Well, I don't know if it's the sidelines, but
If-
still,
but if it is.
being focused around a dude from
Yeah.
Themyscira makes no sense. Anyway, whatever.
Okay, then.
We'll get to
So
that when we get to
I guess
that.
we'll see.
Yep.
Okay, so we may or may not be back in a week, depending on,
Everybody's schedule.
and who gets what read.
Yep. Anyway, thanks for watching. See
Bye,
you next
guys.
time.